you have reached a real milestone in your life. But before I talk just a little bit about that, and I'm only going to take a few minutes because I have a feeling you're very excited about getting out, aren't you? Yeah, I know. Well, I've got 3 children myself, and I know what it's like. I've got 2 in college, and they're thrilled to be home for the summer, or at least out of school. I don't know if they're thrilled to be home. And I've got one that's just finishing 9th grade, and she can hardly wait to get out this afternoon. So I know the feeling well. It's an exciting time for you. Let me tell you, how many of you have ever seen Brad James do the weather? All right. Now, I want to tell you one little secret about Brad. Don't you ever tell him, if you ever see him, that I told you this. But if you watch tonight, either at 5 o'clock on our news or at 6 o'clock, I'll tell you a secret about him. You know, when he does the weather, you see, and you would expect to see a weather map back there if you were sitting in the studio. Well, when you sit at home, he sits there and shows you all these satellite pictures and shows you where the cold fronts and the warm fronts are, where the rain is. But you know, if you were sitting in the studio with us, he looks really strange because you know what he does? He stands there and he talks to nothing but a green wall. There's absolutely no map there. And you know, it's so interesting. If we have a guest in the studio and they come to watch the news, and whenever Brad gets up and starts doing the weather, they start looking, and they look, and they can't figure out because this is what it looks like in the studio. As crazy as I look telling you about this high pressure system with a trailing cold front, and notice how the weather system's moving this way, and we have a high temp. That's what he's talking. And he talks like that to nothing but a green wall. There's nothing there. Now you might say, now wait a minute, how does that work? Let me give you a little secret. When Brad does the weather, he has a computer. Many of you probably have computers, you worked on them here at school, but he has all of his maps in his computer, so it's on a full screen. And he programs his computer to show all the different weather systems. The signal from that computer goes up to our control room. Then there's a camera in front of Brad that shoots a picture of Brad and this green wall. That camera electronically says, I don't see green. It cancels out anything that's green. And it allows us to mix the signal from the camera with the signal from the computer, and the pictures from the computer take the place of the green wall. Now, it's all done electronically. So when Brad stands there doing the weather, he's doing nothing but talking to a green wall. Now, you may wonder, how does he know where to point? We have a little TV monitor over here, and we have another TV monitor over here, but you don't see it at home. It's just dark enough so you can't see it. So when Brad actually turns to talk, and you think he's talking about this weather map, he stands about 5 feet in front of that wall, and when he turns in, he watches himself on the TV monitor over here or over here. The same picture you see at home, he watches his hand come up on that TV set, and when it gets to where he wants to point, he stops his hand right there. So he can see himself on TV the whole time he does the weather. Now, let me ask you this. What do you think would happen if Brad James would wear a green suit, a green shirt, and a green tie? He would disappear, except for his head and his hands. And he could stand there and he could say, now you'll notice the high pressure system with a trailing cold front, and you wouldn't see his body. It would become part of the map, and all you would see was his 2 hands and his head. You know, for years I have worked with Brad, and I have always tried to talk him into on April Fool's Day. I think it would be great if he'd come out in all green, wouldn't it? And you would just see his hands and his head talking about the weather. I'll keep working on it. Maybe next year on April Fool's Day, if I can get him to just spend a little money and buy a suit and a shirt like that, we might make it work. So we'll see. So much for that. I just want to spend a couple minutes now and just to encourage each and every one of you. First of all, to congratulate you. As I said, you have reached a milestone in your life. You have reached a goal. And you know, all of you, when you started going to this school, you had a goal, whether you know it or not. And one of your goals was that you would make it out of Glendover and get to go on to what is now going to be middle school. And you, 5th and 6th graders, have reached that goal. But you know, when it comes to goals, you're going to continue setting goals as you go through life. Even your moms, your dads, your grandparents, your aunts and uncles, all of us continue to set goals as we go through life. But it's one thing to set a goal, and it's another thing to achieve that goal. And all of you are achievers today because you have achieved a goal, and that is to graduate from here and to move on to the next level of education. But you're going to continue on. Many of you have had other goals, and maybe you haven't reached all those goals yet. Some of you, you've had a goal as you've gone through school here to be the best athlete that you can be, to be the best musician you can be, perhaps the best artist you can be. Whatever it is that your interests are, you are working towards certain goals. Now, some of you haven't reached all of the goals that you have set out for yourself. But let me encourage you, never stop setting goals for yourself. Never think that you've gotten so good that there's no more that you can learn. You will find that any successful business person, or even a successful mother who may still be working right in the home, raising her family, continues to set goals, and once they say, I can't achieve anymore, they're going to become a failure. At the age that I am at now, I continue to look for ways that I can improve the kind of business that I'm in. I'm sure all of your teachers that you have continued to have goals to make sure that they can improve, that they can even become better teachers. And what you want to do as students now, some of you have done real well, and you've made some great achievements here at this school. Some of you have probably been a little lackadaisical, and maybe you haven't been the best that you could be as far as even academics. And you've probably heard it at home, and let me remind you one more time. Continue to work hard and to study hard. Now, Mom and Dad tell us that all the time, don't they? Usually most of us hear that at home. I want you to know something. They know what they're talking about when they tell you to study hard. For the person that really achieves in life, it doesn't come easily. It's not handed to you. You have to work hard to get it. And that's the same thing as you move on now into middle school, onto high school, and then many of you will even go on into college. Keep studying hard. It's really worth it, because when you get out there someday into the workforce, it's only you that's going to get you through it. And you've got to be out there pulling for yourself and pushing. But what you learn now in these first 12 years are going to be some of the most important things to help you through your entire life. And one other point I want to leave with you. No matter what you're trying to achieve, I don't know how many of you know what we call the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Now, that means treat other people the way you want to be treated. I don't think you want to be cheated out of something, so don't you go and try to cheat somebody else out of something. You know, it's very easy in this day and age, and I see it so much in the news. We have so many people, they will cheat, they will lie, they will steal just to try to get ahead. But anytime you do that type of thing, you're only hurting yourself. That is not going to get you ahead in the long run. Do unto others what you would want them to do to you. Treat them the way you want to be treated, and I guarantee you, you will be a success in life. Put together your studies, and those of you who haven't studied real hard these first 5 or 6 years, let me challenge you over the next 6 years to really work hard, to do that homework, even though it's not fun sometimes, because when you get out of school, it's going to be worth it. So I hope you just remember those few little things today as I've left this challenge with you, because it's going to make a better person out of you as you finally go out as an adult someday into the workforce, and as your principal said, you are the leaders of tomorrow. So learn all you can now in school, and then be what you can really be by just doing unto others as you would have them do unto you. My congratulations to all of you. I'm really excited for you. Thank you.
And we greatly appreciate your attendance.